Socotra Island looks like something your brain refuses to accept at first glance, and yet, it is completely real. Deep in the Arabian Sea, far from modern cities and normal travel routes, lies a remote island belonging to Yemen called Socotra Island. And the first thing you notice is not just that it is isolated, it's that it looks like it doesn't belong on Earth at all. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because this alien appearance is not a special effect, not a movie set, and not a digital creation. It is nature, completely on its own, doing something scientists still find fascinating. To understand why Socotra looks this way, you have to imagine something very important. This island has been cut off from mainland landmasses for millions of years. No constant mixing of ecosystems. No outside interference shaping its plant life the normal way. Just isolation, time, and survival. And that isolation created something strange. Because when life is left alone long enough, it doesn't just survive, it adapts in ways that can feel almost unbelievable. Now, let's talk about what makes Socotra instantly recognizable. There is a tree here that looks like it belongs in a science fiction movie. Its shape is not like normal trees. Instead of growing tall and leafy like what you were used to, it grows with a thick trunk and a wide, umbrella-like crown that spreads out in a perfect, almost unnatural shape. From a distance, it almost looks like giant mushrooms or umbrellas placed across a dry, rocky landscape. This tree is so unique that it has become the symbol of the island. And then comes the part that catches almost everyone off guard. When its bark is cut, it releases a deep red sap. Not light red, not pink, but a dark, rich red that looks almost like blood. Because of this, ancient people believed it had magical or mysterious properties. Some even thought it was something supernatural. But science gives a different explanation. The red sap is a natural resin the tree produces to heal itself and protect against damage. Still, even knowing that explanation, seeing it in real life doesn't feel normal. It feels like you're looking at something that shouldn't exist in nature, but does. And just when you think you've understood Socotra, the island shows you more. Because this is not the only strange plant here. There are trees that look like giant bottles standing upright in the ground. Their trunks are unusually thick, almost swollen, as if they were filled with water, and that's exactly the point. These trees evolved to survive extreme dryness. So instead of relying on frequent rainfall, they store water inside themselves like natural tanks, surviving long droughts that would destroy normal vegetation. Then there are plants that look soft, round, and inflated, almost like they were shaped by human design. Some resemble cucumbers growing out of stone-like ground, and others look completely out of place compared to any familiar ecosystem. And here's the part that makes Socotra even more fascinating: many of these plants exist nowhere else on Earth. Not in Africa, not in Asia, not in any other desert or island. Only here. So if Socotra were to disappear tomorrow, entire species would disappear with it. But the question that naturally comes next is, why here? Why does this one island look so different from everywhere else? The answer brings us back to isolation again. For millions of years, Socotra remains separated from large landmasses. That means its plants didn't evolve alongside global ecosystems. They evolved alone. Slowly. Quietly. Without competition from outside species. And over time, nature doesn't plan, it reacts. It adapts. It experiments. So instead of forests like you would expect, Socotra developed survival-based designs. Thick trunks for water storage. Strange shapes to reduce heat loss. Unusual structures that help plants survive strong winds and dry climate conditions. Everything here is shaped by one thing: survival. But even that explanation doesn't fully remove the feeling you get when you see it. Because there is still something about Socotra that feels unfamiliar. Like you're looking at Earth, but not the version you're used to. And that's what makes scientists so interested in it. Socotra is considered one of the most important biodiversity hotspots in the world. Not because it is the most beautiful island, but because it is one of the clearest examples of how life evolves when it is completely isolated. It acts like a natural time capsule. A place that shows what happens when nature is left alone long enough to create its own rules. Researchers study it to understand how ecosystems form, how species adapt, and how life responds when it has no outside influence for millions of years. But here's something even more interesting: even today, large parts of the island remain difficult to study in detail. Not because it is hidden, but because it is remote, harsh, and still not fully explored in the way modern science would prefer. So even now, Socotra is still revealing itself slowly. And that leads to a final thought, one that stays with many people after they see it. If one isolated island on Earth can evolve into something this strange, this unique, and this visually unbelievable, then what else on this planet do we still not fully understand? Because Socotra is not a story about another world. It is a reminder that our world still has places that feel like they belong somewhere else. And maybe, the Earth is still more mysterious than we think. Subscribe for more hidden mystery.